So today I'm going to show you all of my high-end palettes. Right now I'm going to start with my Viseart palettes. These are the three that I have. I love them so much. For my Viseart palette, I have this palette. This is the Dark Mattes. I also have the Sultry Muse. And I have the Boheme Dream. This is beautiful. Look at those colors. I also have the Viseart Theory palette in Minx. For Laura Mercier, I have the Sleek and Chic palette that looks like this. I also have the Eye Artist palette that looks like this. This is absolutely one of my favorite palettes. It's such a beautiful palette. It has so many great colors in it. Love. I want to say about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I got this from Nordstrom Rack. It was Into the Wild. This is a collection set. So it has these three palettes. It has Safari Chic, Jungle Chic, and Tribal Chic. And some of them do have blushes in them as well that look like this. This is Safari Chic, and it comes with an eyeliner as well. And this is Jungle Chic. This is the It Cosmetics palette that I have. It looks like this. Beautiful colors. I haven't even got to try it yet because this is newer to me. I have this little Clinique palette that I got in a set one time. This is a Lancome palette that came in a set from HSN. It's like the nudes, but very pretty palette. This is the Vegas Lights from Makeup Geek. Very pigmented shadows, and a little goes a long way. Love these colors. A few palettes from the Balm. I have the Meet Matte Nude. Looks like this. Mont Balm. Just a little 4-pan. The Nude Dude. And the Nude Tude. The Nude Dude was more of a favorite to me than the Tude, but they're both good palettes, but I really do prefer the Nude Dude. From Smashbox, I have this little one. It was like a smaller little purchase. It has blushes, bronzer, and then it also has the high shadows down here. The Double Exposure palette looks like this. I also have the Full Exposure palette. I also have the Masterclass Contour Color palette. This is a very interesting layout of the palette. So you have shadows on this side and more of contour highlighting shades, and then shadows on this side with more of your blushes. And this is the Masterclass palette. I have the Wonder Vision Mega palette. I have a little headband thing on it because it doesn't want to seem to lay close on this side. I don't know what it is with these cards that are over here for the look ideas in it, but it doesn't like to close properly. So it has blushes and a bronzer on this side and lots of different colored eyeshadows in different tones on this side. I have two Sephora palettes. I got these when they were on discount. I got these two palettes while they were on discount. They're not my favorite, but they're okay. I would say that full price, these were not worth the money, but I think they were like $19 on sale, and that was better and more affordable and not as painful to pay for. This is the other one. This one's more smoky. Two more palettes from Sephora. I have the Sephora Gem palette. This was a limited edition collector's kind of thing, and I really do like this. I do have a look that I did with this on my channel, and it came out really nicely. Sephora plus Pantone Universe palette when it was the Marsala. I've actually used this palette a lot, and I really do like the shades in here. This one in particular is one of my favorites. Included this, even though you can get it at Sephora, so it could be considered drugstore, it could be considered high-end. This is the Patty Dubreuil Spotlight palette. Looks like this. This is the Mally Pro Tricks palette. Over here are your cream products, so I like that there's like a little cover on this for the cream products. For Stila palettes, I have this Stila Not So Nude palette. It does have kitten in here, which I love, so I enjoy this palette. Selection of palettes, they've all been discontinued now, but this is the In the Know palette, which has just all of your matte shades. This is In the Garden. In the Moment, more of your purple tones. And this is more of like your neutral, kind of closest to the Urban Decay Naked palette, where this is in the light. I have one of these. This was one of their collections when it first came out. This one is in Spirit, very shiny rose gold packaging, beautiful. This is what it looks like. I have several palettes from Too Faced. These two are one of their holiday limited editions. This was the one from this past year. It looks like this. And I also have the Few of My Favorite Things palette from a couple years ago. Eyeshadows on top that are gorgeous, and then you have your bronzer and blushes. I have the Too Faced Bonjour Summer palette. Looks like this. One of my absolute favorites is this Mermaid and Plumeria. It's such a beautiful color, and Day is a beautiful matte color. I also have Sugar Pop, beautiful colors. This bluish teal is just like of life. It's such a beautiful color. I also have Natural Matte, looks like this. Summer Eyes, which Summer Eyes, the only difference between these two is this one right here. This is classic and it has a shimmer. This classic does not. It's a matte. And Coral Crush is here and Firefly is up here. But other than that, everything else is exactly the same. So kind of a little bit of a waste, but I do like Firefly and I do like Coral Crush. I also have a la mode eyes. This pinkish maroon, it's called Monaco, is so beautiful. From Too Faced. This was when their packaging was a little bit more bulky and a little bit just over the top for me. I don't have very many of these. This is the only one I have. I have the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Palette. The Chocolate Bar Palette, the original one, which let me just say that both the Semi-Sweet and the Chocolate Bar Palette just smell amazing. This is one of my most current loves. This is the Sweet Peach Palette, and this is also from Too Faced. This is the Chocolate Bonbon Palette. All of these palettes just smell so good. This is the Too Faced Pretty Rebel palette. This was out a few years ago and has been discontinued. They returned to Sexy palette from Too Faced, very shimmery. If you are into shimmer, you would like this, but it has been now discontinued. The newer version of this, the I forget what it was, but it came out with the love hearts and stuff. It has the hearts paneling instead. I did return that one. I didn't like it, and it found that it was just too shimmery and too much like this palette, so I did return that one. And this came out on Sephora's 15th birthday anniversary with Too Faced. There is your bronzers and blush here and eyeshadows up here, and it does come with a shadow insurance as well. Onto a little bit of Tarte. This is the Rainforest After Dark palette. I love this palette. This palette is so easy for quick on the go, everyday look, and it has your blush inside. I use this palette a lot. I have the Tartelette Original palette that looks like this. I also have the Tartelette in Bloom palette, which is one of my favorite palettes as well. Beautiful palette. This came in a set from QVC that I got. I'm not that big of a fan of this one, but I do like the blush in here. And this is the Be Your Own Tartiste palette. This was also a holiday set one year. It's just these little panels, and it just comes with a few shadows in each one. Looks like that. This was a Laura Geller collection. This is the Book of Jewels. I got this off QVC, I believe, probably almost 2 years ago, if not, like around the holidays. There is these are all of her baked eyeshadows. This is the Crystals, more of your smoky tones. The Ambers, more of your warm golds, coppers. The Jades, more of your green, a nice beautiful mermaid color. Sapphires, more of your blues, and this royal blue over here is so pretty. And the Amethyst, which is more of your pinks and purples. The Violet Voss Pro palette is new to me. This is the first one. They just released the second one. This is such a beautiful palette. I just got it the other day and did one eye look with it and already fell in love with it. I have two melted palettes. This is the Dark Matter palette, which they all can separate, or it can go in a row like this and create such a beautiful eye look. This is the Love Sick palette. This peach color and this purple are just to die for. This cranberry maroon is so gorgeous as well. I have a few Makeup Forever palettes. This is the newest collection for their holiday edition, the Makeup Forever Artist palette. Such beautiful colors. Love this. Makeup Forever Artist 8-pan palette. This is a really great palette if you wanted to travel and kind of have a little bit of something. Maybe just a small matte palette with this because there is only one matte in here, but really great colors. I have the Makeup Forever Artist palettes. I have 1, 2, and 3. This is 1. This is 2. And this is 3. I have a few Inglot sets. I want to get so much more. I love Inglot. If you've never tried Inglot, I highly suggest it. These are some of my favorites because it's like you're getting 3 shadows in one. The price is right for them. They're beautiful. This is a purple. This is pink. They're all matte and just beautiful colors. And I love these palettes. I also did a rainbow one with this. This one is a little bit more of like your orange, peach, and copper shimmers. These is your peach, pink, and kind of a little bit more of a rose, dusty rose pink as well shimmer. And then a little bit more of your pinky purples and shimmers as well. I have this, which also includes 1 blush, and this blush is to die for. Little goes a long way. Don't let it scare you, but it is just beautiful. And then 3 shimmer metallics. I have a Bobbi Brown Brick palette. This is the Nude Eye palette. Looks like this. Beautiful colors. These 2 are mattes. These 2 are shimmers. I have the YSL. This was a limited edition one. This pink sparkle glitter beautifulness. There are the shadows. This is my Dior palette. This is in pink designs. And this is what it looks like. I have this limited edition palette. This was a MAC Nordstrom palette. There are 15 shadows in here, and this one was just exclusive to the Nordstrom. They still have them. Beautiful colors. 2 little 9 MAC palettes. I love when they started doing this because there are some in here that are just amazing cult MAC favorites that everybody loves, but you don't have to pay $16 for just the one eyeshadow unless you really, really love it and go through it a lot. So I really love this. I have one in the nudes and one in the purple. I also have this from MAC. This was a holiday collection when they come out with their Nordstrom sales. Sometimes they have these put together. This is a MAC Look in a Box. This one is all about plum. And so you have your eyeshadows, your blush and bronzer, and then you have 2 cream products for your lips as well. Okay, on to some Anastasia. I have the Amrezi palette, which looks like this. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Love this palette. I have the Artist palette. This is the Self-Made palette. This is one of the newer ones. I have the Lavish palette. This is such a beautiful palette. Love this palette. I also have the Shadow Couture palette. I have 2 Becca palettes. I have the Ombre Nudes, which is the cool tone nudes. Beautiful colors. And then I also have the Ombre Rouge, which is just your warmer tone colors, but still nude and gorgeous. I have 1 Marc Jacobs palette. I wish I could have more because the packaging alone is to die for. So super cute. This is the Night Owl package. This color right here is life. From IT Cosmetics, I have the Naturally Pretty Romantics palette. These palettes are nice because they're all matte, but they have the Transformer Pearl shade, which helps to make anything more shimmery and beautiful. This is the Naturally Pretty Celebration palette. The Naturally Pretty are the original palette. I have 1 palette from Cargo. This is the Essentials palette. Looks like that. Okay, let's talk Urban Decay. I have a lot of Urban Decay. This is the Urban Decay Naked 2. This is Urban Decay Naked, the original. Beautiful, beautiful colors. The Naked Smoky palette. Naked 3, which such gorgeous colors. I have this, I think it was the Gunsmoke palette. This is definitely older. This is the Shadowbox palette. And the limited edition Pulp Fiction palette. This palette is definitely older. I want to say several years older, and I don't even remember the name. I think Hummingbird palette. I'm not positive. Don't quote me. This is a new Gwen Stefani one that they came out with a couple months ago. This is the newest edition of the limited edition ones. This is the Vice LTD Extra or LTD Reloaded palette. This I recently did a review on. This is the Urban Decay Spectrum palette. You can still get this one. The packaging is a little wonky. This doesn't stay on it very well unless you put it in something where it's laying flat, but the colors are just amazing. I made myself that has just 4 of the palettes in it, pans in it. This is the Vice limited edition one that they came out with last year. I have the Vice 2 and 3. This is 3. Beautiful packaging. This is what it looks like. Vice 2. I also have the Urban Decay Smoked palette. This one comes up every now and then on sale, so if you see it, I would definitely pick it up. Most recently, I saw it at Nordstrom Rack. Last but definitely not least in the Urban Decay family is the Electric palette. I love this packaging. It's so bright and fun. The colors are so beautiful and playful. It's just amazing. I love this palette. As for Kat Von D, I have this last year's Mi Vida Loca Remix palette, the one that looks like a beautiful bright color wheel. Love this palette. I have the Shade and Light Eye palette, the Monarch palette, the Chrysalis palette, the Interstellar palette. This one wasn't as big of a hit to me, but it's still okay. It does have some beautiful select shades in here, but just not enough versatility. A collection from not this last year, a year before. This is the Star Studded palette from Sephora that I forgot to mention was the Sephora Chroma Color palette. This is the one that I reviewed from a couple holidays ago. Tons of eyeshadows over here, and then there were colored pencils over here that I have since put away. Okay, on to my favorite brand of life is Lorac. Lorac would come first, then Urban Decay, then probably Too Faced. As far as palettes go, Makeup Geek I also really love, but I'm going to show that in my drugstore just because it is a little bit more affordable. So this is the Lorac Pro. I'm sure you've all seen this. This is an amazing palette, such versatility, beautiful colors. You can make so many different eye looks with this. I also have the Lorac Pro 2. This one is a little bit harder for me to work with because they're very cool tone shades, but I still really enjoy the colors. I have the Lorac Pro Mega 2. Looks like this. But my absolute favorite is the Lorac Pro Mega 1. This was such a beautiful palette. I'm so sad at how this was handled, but if you got it, definitely whip this out and make some beautiful eye looks with it. I also have the Lorac, the Resort palette. It has some blushes, bronzer, highlighter, and some very nice, easy eye look shades. I have the Lorac Gold and Unzipped. Unzipped is my favorite. It's such a beautiful palette. Unzipped Gold is also beautiful, but I just prefer the first one. Edition palette, I'm so sorry, but I don't remember the name. I think it was like Star or something like that, but very easy colors and one blush in here. This is the Party eyeshadow palette. Beautiful colors, lots of shimmer. I have these two little ones, which was from the most recent holiday at Ulta. There is the Lorac Love, Lust, and Lace Matte Eyeshadow and Shimmer Eyeshadow. Just beautiful colors, easy, neutral. Here is the shimmer. This is Get Hot palette. This is just one of their little minis, but I love this peach. Royal eyeshadow palette. So this is Princess, Duchess, Queen, and Countess. Pro Metal palette. Love these shades in here. Such a beautiful palette. The Lorac Pro Matte palette, the little mini. This is the Wrestling Romance palette. Beautiful shades in here as well. These were so much fun during the summer. This is the Lorac Alter Ego. Such pretty colors. Look at that blue. I mean, seriously. And this is the Afterglow palette. There was one other one. There was a purple one that looked like this too. I did not pick up that one, but I recently saw it in Nordstrom Rack. It just was okay to me. Then I also have all of these little ones. I love these. They're $15. They're super cheap. This is the Marsala. The navy is the nudes. Beautiful, beautiful colors. This is Plum. And then the black palette. I also have this little mini Pure Minerals one. It was also like a holiday Sephora $10 perk thing, and it's just really pretty. Stay tuned for part 2. You can see the middle to drugstore featuring my Makeup Geek eyeshadows.